Hello students, myself Dr. Chayabhyam, Associate Professor. In this video, let's understand the concepts of optical network deployments. Optical network deployments. So in this topic, we will be able to understand how optical networks are deployed in public telecommunication networks such as long haul networks, metropolitan area networks, access networks and local area networks. The current operating systems operate at higher speed and with increased functionality and with a greater reliability. So in this example, we can see the modern complex operating system that depicts DWDM as a backbone network, and it is also incorporating various elements such as add drop channels with a core ring. You can see that the core ring is connected to, which is helping to connect to local area network, access network and MAN. So together with the enterprises and LAN network. So the present and future deployments of optical networks can be explained in the further slides. The first we will consider long haul networks. So we will see some of the features of long haul networks. So it is a network that connects several regions wherein the global coverage is about 100 to thousands of kilometers. A current long haul optical networks is shown in this figure, where it has a point-to-point DWDM links with regenerators at endpoints, and it is having a erbium doped fiber amplifier placed at the terminals. So we can see there is something called as 3R, that is 3R regenerator. So this 3R regenerator is typically placed at every 600 intervals of time. Why it is placed to reduce overall signal degradation on the link. So this type of network structures is used to interconnect optical networking nodes situated in different cities around anywhere in the globe. This is an example to show how optical network interconnectivity is made among major US cities. So it is connecting almost 13 cities using high capacity optical long haul networks, which is connecting over 5,400 kilometers. Another deployment of optical networks is in submerged optical fiber networks. So this networks typically cover over long distances between continents, around 3,000 to 10,000 kilometers range, where most of the optical fiber cable lies in deep sea water. So submerged networks require repeaters that re-amplify the signal at every 1 hour. 1 RS, 1 regenerator, amplifiers and optical amplifiers are also required, and the various elements that submerged cable systems comprising are as shown in the figure. So in this figure we can see there are two sections. One is dry plant and second one is wet plant. When I say dry plant, it is nothing but residing at dry land. So it is also called as landing station. So wet plant is that it is residing at sea water. It is also called as submerged section. So when I say landing section, it houses the terminal equipments that interconnects optical signals from submerged cable and passes it to the terrestrial systems. So the underwater cable includes following components such as repeaters, gain equalizers and branch elements as shown in the figure to facilitate access to other landing stations. These are some of the examples of deployed submerged optical cable networks. So the date in services is from 1988 to till date, and we can see there are so many types of submerged optical cable networks like TAT8, TAT9, TAT10, TAT11 and so on, with different transmission capacities that are located at different locations. You can glance it. So this graph shows the comparative chart showing different worldwide submerged networks and their corresponding operational transmission capacities. So we can clearly depict that in the year 2006 operational capacity is reached up to 3 terabits per second approximately. Let us see one more type of public telecommunication network, that is metropolitan area networks. So these are also called as metro networks because it provides us regional interfaces interconnecting access network end users. So the man must be cost effective in terms of operations and maintenance. So metro networks are subject to specific requirements and traffic demands that are quite different from long haul or access networks. So this figure shows the simple MAN structure. So it consists of two rings, ring 1 and ring 2, which is separated by DXC. DXC is digital cross connect, which acts as a hub between two networks. So the ring 1 constitute a metro network providing the means of interconnections to the long haul network. Similarly, the ring 2 is providing a means of interconnection for the enterprise or access networks. So this is the way the man is connected, and we can see that it forms a central ring. So when I say man, it will have a central ring and an access ring. So the central ring is the one which connects long haul network, also called as core ring. Access network will be the neighboring rings, so which are also called as access rings. In the second figure, which shows the typical metropolitan area network for typical large city. So here it is indicating the distances and the number of channels that are provided for typical large city. So in this network, it consists of central metro core networks. So we told that when I say MAN, it will basically have two networks. One is core network and metro access network. So this figure is clearly showing the metro core network, and it is having 5 metro access rings which connects 12 dedicated links from the premises. The core ring is the one which interconnects the access rings through digital cross connects, also called as DXCs. Access networks. These are the networks that connect subscriber to a particular service providers through a carrier network such as an internet. It is one of the elements of the public telecommunication access nodes to either individual users or MANs. So it is the last link in the network between customers and first point of the connection to the network infrastructures. So this figure shows the access network transmission media deployment strategies. So here the different media options are used. The access network can be provided from the single point of contact, that is local exchange or hub. So from this local exchange hub, it will be reaching end users by using various media options as shown in the figure. So one medium of transfer of information is through copper cable, hybrid coaxial cable, and by an optical fiber cable. Next, the access network based on hybrid fiber cable can be explained as shown in this figure. So it has two technologies. First one is the optical fiber, and it has coaxial cable as the medium. So figure shows a generic HFC. When I say HFC, it is hybrid fiber coaxial cable providing a cable TV service. So we have one hub which is connected through an optical node and passing it to n number of residential users, which can be up to 500 to 2000 homes. So here the optical node is a multifunctional element that is used, also acting as a transceiver to connect the optical fiber and the coaxial cable. We can see that they have used line RF amplifiers which are used as trunk and line amplifiers to amplify the signal power on an coaxial cable to enable large number of customers to be reached. So the coaxial cables are used to carry various types of information such as audio, video and data signals. Here we'll see what are optical fiber access networks. So there are two sections, feeder section and distribution section as shown in the figure. The local exchange and the remote node network is considered as feeder section, and the network between a remote node and network interface unit is called as distributor section or distribution network. The NIU enables communication between devices that use different protocols. So these require conversions at a specific device protocol. The single remote node can serve n number of NIUs located either at the building or at the street, serving number of customers. So there are some more strategies or deployment strategies that are shown. So the ONU is used to terminate the fiber connections. The location of the ONU and their distances from local exchange and NIU determine the specific configurations. So here FTTB or FTTC, FTTC is fiber to the cabinet or fiber to the curb is considered when ONU are located at the cabinet or in the main streets or near the curb. So the networks are also called as FTTB or FTTH, that is fiber to the building. When the ONU is placed within a major building, the fiber access networks will be called as FTTH, fiber to the home or fiber to the buildings.